Alright, so we've got a whole bunch of ones we've already looked at. So we'll go down to the bottom here. Alright, so this is where we're starting today. Okay, so the first thing I want to point out, I just want to remind people that here I've just copy and pasted the dictionary entry for the kanji, okay? And I use Jim Breen's dictionary. It's you'll be able to find it on Google. I find it very, very good for this particular type of thing. And we see I've edited the entry a bit because there's a lot of kind of information we don't need. But the first thing we have in this square brackets here, this kanji is pronounced as, well, it's oto. This means sound. Alright, this is a good word to learn. But here we read it as on, okay? And on is kind of short for on yomi, okay? And this is our Chinese pronunciation of a kanji, okay? So the kind of the original Chinese pronunciation that this kanji had, okay? And then the next one in square brackets, this kanji here we read as kun, okay? And again, short for kun yomi. And this is the Japanese reading and basically meaning of the kanji, okay? And then we have our kanji for a, alright? And a is the word for, well, basically it represents English. Okay, so we have our English translation here. Now, when you're learning a kanji, I would always recommend that you try and learn the kunyomi first. Okay, try and learn the kunyomi first. It kind of does depend on the kanji a lot of times, but generally the kunyomi is the best thing, especially if it's a verb. All right, if you can tell by the u, and here it isn't, right? But here, if you look and see it's an u ending, it's really good to learn that because that'll really tell you the meaning of the kanji, and that's very useful for when you see it in other words. Okay, now when you're really, basically when you've really learnt the Japanese meaning and the English meaning, then you can look at learning the onyomi, okay, the Chinese pronunciation. I mean, all of them are important, but if we're talking about priority here, that's how I would do it. Okay, now once you feel pretty confident that you know the kunyomi well and like you can basically write it, if I say hidari, can you write this kanji out? Then the next step is you want to try and remember that onyomi, okay? And the best way to do that is actually to learn a word that onyomi comes in, rather than trying to learn it like this, okay? Learn it like just like it's a dictionary and you're just kind of rote memorizing, because after a while it gets pretty hard to keep all these sounds in your head. So it's better off that we try and learn a word like this, okay? Now I've tried to pick words which first of all are useful words, and they're likely to come up in year 12. But also these words kind of give you a good feel for the various meanings kanji can have, okay? Now this left one is not a great example because, you know, left is kind of a pretty solid concept most people get. But when we're talking about kanji for like sympathy or stuff like this, you know, what sympathy means in Japanese, it can kind of change depending on what compound the kanji comes in. So it's good to learn at least a few words, and then you can kind of say, oh yeah, this kanji can mean this, this, and this, alright? It's not going to be very... it's not like you can make borders between the words, like you can go, okay, this kanji is this English word, this kanji, because there's going to be overlap, there's going to be disconnect, all this kind of stuff. Okay, so let's look at our first one. So the first one here, by the way, I've highlighted the ones which I think, these are ones you kind of have to learn. The ones I haven't highlighted, I would probably not bother doing it for now. I want to point out that this is for year 12, okay, in Australia. For example, if you're doing JLPT study, some of these you will have to learn, okay, depending on what level you do. But these are at least, if you know all these, this will be enough for the year 12 exams. Okay, so onyomi we see is sa, okay, and we have hidari, alright, so this is how we want to think of this kanji, hidari, and we see this means left. Okay, and a really good word to learn this is sasetsu. Okay, left turn, comes up a lot in directions. Okay, next one of course is migi. Migi. Alright, so again, kunyomi first, migi. So to the right. And here we just learn u. Okay, u is our best one. Alright, and similarly we have usetsu. Alright, sasetsu, usetsu. I assume that this is not going to come up correct on the video, but anyway, it's my left. Sasetsu, usetsu. Now, a common problem a lot of people have is how do you tell the difference, you know, when you're trying to read it in a document or whatever. How do you tell the difference between hidari and migi? Okay? So, for me, I came up with this little mnemonic, so you're welcome to use it if you wish. So, when you look at this hidari, we can see that the kind of top part is the same, right? We kind of have a katakana na looking character there. But on the bottom, we have what looks like a katakana e for left, and Miki has a katakana ro, looks like a katakana ro. Now, this is not a ro, by the way. This is probably kuchi, I would say. But anyway, it's very interesting if you look at that where kanji, hiragana and katakana comes from, because it actually they both come from kanji. So I find that very interesting, and there's lots of good infographics on the internet you'll be able to find this kind of stuff. Man, the working is intense. I don't know how long they're going to do it. I really hope it doesn't come up too loud. It's very loud from where I'm sitting. But anyway, let me just record this. Anyway, okay. So what I do is I say, well, we got a katakana e, alright? And when we think of the word left, okay, we have an e in there, left, okay? And also, when we have a katakana ro, this starts with an r, so right, okay? E and ro, okay? That's what I use. Until now, or I shouldn't say it until now, but now, when I hear sasetsu, usetsu, like it's just the word is in my head. I don't have to use this mnemonic anymore, okay? So eventually you'll get good enough, you don't have to worry about it. Okay, our next one, alright, really handy one, okay? So when we're talking about kanji, one thing I think is really not emphasized very well in Japanese tuition is radicals, okay? When we're dealing with kanji, we can see that there's like kind of composite parts, alright, of kanji. And this one is a really good one to learn, okay? This is me. Now, if we look at an example here of why this is important, right? If we think of the word miru, alright, our verb to see, alright, what have we got here? Well, we've got an eye on top of some legs, okay? So it's important, not just so you can kind of recognize kanji when you see them, but also it's very important when you're writing kanji, okay? Because you might go, wait, is there two strokes in the middle or is there one stroke? And all you have to go is, oh yes, it's I, and I has two strokes, okay? Because, you know, day or sun only has one stroke, okay? And you can say, well, obviously, if it's look, it's probably going to be I rather than sun. Okay, so we got me, all right? We should, you know, use our kunyomi here, me. All right, so this means I, all right? And you can kind of imagine if you rotate it, it's like an I on its side. Some people actually say it's upright. I don't really mind which one you do. Okay, so our onyomi, now even this, I would probably say it's not super useful to learn, but we could come up with a word, for example, mokuji, which is a table of contents. I know this is the word I learnt to learn this onyomi, but yeah, it's not super important. I think you could get by with just learning me. Alright, so we have a sentence like me ga itai. Me ga itai desu. Alright, my eye hurts. Alright. Next one. Alright, super important kanji, this one. Now, I've edited this dictionary entry quite a lot, but you'll be surprised at how many readings this kanji has. Also, it's used a lot in names, so it has lots and lots of different readings for names as well. I'd like to see, if any of you guys, I don't have the original here, but if you look this up in Jim Brand's dictionary, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's crazy, the amount of readings this has. I'd be interested to see if you guys have a rival for this kanji. I don't think I've seen a kanji with more readings than this. The only one I think which would kind of come close would be shita or ue, because we've got agaru, ageru, noboru, no, you know, sagaru. There's so many different verb readings for that. But even that, I don't think it has that many readings compared to this. So yeah, leave a comment if you can think of a character which, well, if you come across a character which is more than this. I'd be happy to be proved wrong, but at least from my very limited Japanese, it's definitely one of the biggest I can think of. Okay, so what are we dealing with here? Well, we've got a few readings we have to know about this one, and it's a very kind of fluid concept as well in English. All right, so life. Okay, this is a really common one. And this reading of ikiru, this means to live, okay? So life is going to be a big one. And we see birth, all right? So this word umareru. So itsu umaremashita ka? So when were you born? So yeah, both of these, ikiru and umareru, yeah. So I would say probably it's not going to come up that often, okay? If we're really going to prioritize, if you're going to only come out with one reading for this kanji, I would say sei, okay? And this is probably what a lot of you guys are very familiar with, all right? We have gakusei, seikatsu, I think I put down there, yeah, seikatsu, Okay, so sei is overwhelmingly going to be the big one. Now, this is also handy when we think of other words. Now, this is unlikely to come up on Japanese Year 12 Japanese exam, but it could. All right, we got this word dansei, and I guess we should also put josei. Okay, so this is male and female. All right. Now, if we look at this sei, this is what I was talking about, where kind of this is not so much a radical, but when we look at parts of kanji, it can help a lot, because this kanji we see the right hand side is the same as the kanji we're looking at here, and it's also read as sei. Okay, so that's kind of a good thing to keep in mind, that you know, if you learn the kind of fundamental kanji first, it can really help you when you look at the more complicated ones. Alright, now the last reading that might be good to learn for this one is nama. Okay, now this means like raw or fresh or live kind of thing as well, right? So we can say nama hoso, right? This is a live broadcast, okay? Not being edited or whatever. So basically, ima wa nama hoso desu. Alright, live broadcast. And we can also say like nama biru, okay? And this is draft beer, right? You know, pouring out of a tap. And we can also say namakusai, alright? This means basically it smells like fish. Basically something smells bad. It smells off. Okay, so namakusai, because kusai is a bit of a negative meaning, okay? So when we use it with nama, it's kind of saying, yeah, it smells too fresh, right? It's raw. Not raw, sorry, it's going off, is what I should say. Alright, now one word that comes up a lot for year 12, okay? I would say there's about 10 words which you just have to know, alright? Seikatsu. This is one of them, alright, for both of these kanji, both sei and katsu, okay? And seikatsu means living or life, alright? And we see this a lot. It's often a semester 2 theme for a lot of you guys, which is nichijou seikatsu, okay? Everyday life. And we have, you know, nihonjin no seikatsu, stuff like this, okay? So this word's going to come up quite a lot, and it's really good to remember, right? Oboete oite kudasai. Okay, got a bit of a weird gap there. Let's get rid of that. Okay, next one. Alright, so we've got a color here. Now there are definitely a few colors worth learning. Again, we're going to come, all the ones that I go through in this list are worth learning. But basically black, white, red, yellow. Probably don't worry about green. You want to know how to say green, but it's a bit of a difficult kanji. That's about it. Those are the, I say red, right? Yeah. Yeah, red, green, yellow, blue, I didn't say blue, black, white. These are the main colors you wanna learn. Okay, but we'll get to all of those a bit later. Okay, so yeah, again we should probably start from the kunyomi here. So shiro, okay, this is white. Now I've also highlighted shiroi, okay, because remember with our colors in Japanese we can kind of treat them as nouns and as adjectives. So when we're describing something that is white, we use this shiroi, alright? So I've got here shiroi kutsu, alright, white shoes. You wouldn't say shiro kutsu. It's kind of a bit weird. Alright, then our other one is haku. Now I'd say probably it's not worth learning this. It comes up a bit later, very important, but for now it's probably not useful for year 12. But we have words like hakuban, okay? We have kokuban, blackboard, hakuban, a whiteboard. But having said that, I actually put this word in here originally, then took it out, because I'm not sure if this is really the, especially kokuban. I mean in Japan they still use blackboards. Well, last I checked, they did anyway. They do love their blackboards over there, but yeah, hakuban doesn't come up too much. Alright, but we can get by with shiro or shiroi, I think, for these two. Alright, this is a really important one, okay? I mean, I'm going to probably say that with every single one of these, but this is one a lot of people tend to skip, okay? Now, it means rice field or rice paddy, okay? And we can just read it as ta, and you know, just for me, when I look at this kanji, it looks like a rice paddy, okay? It's like if you're looking down at a rice paddy from the top, okay? Now, when does this word get used? Well, basically this second one, I guess I should put this one first. Okay, Tanaka-san. Alright, Tanaka-san. Really, really common name in Japan, okay? So we're always going to be hearing about Tanaka-san in our listening and our reading and things like this. Alright, so Tanaka. So this is, if you can read this name, Tanaka-san, you'll know this kanji well enough to do well in year 12, I would say. Now there is another really handy word that we should learn, okay, if we're talking about Japan. Now the reason I put this is because it could come up, you know, we could be talking about Nihon no suiden no hanashi. Alright, we could be talking about rice fields in Japan, for example, okay? And the good thing about this word is that it helps you remember the den reading, okay? Our onyomi, right? So this is what I said. We want to learn words which can help us remember the onyomi, okay? Very important. So suiden, this is a rice field or a rice paddy, right? Let me see if we have our kanji for water. Kind of makes sense. All right. Next one, we have hon, okay? This is actually a really cool kanji. I like this one quite a lot. Very, very archaic, ancient kanji. It's been around for a long time. Now, most of you will know it as hon, okay? And this is a very good way to remember this kanji, all right? It just means book. But as you can see here in the yellow, it's got quite some eclectic, different meanings from book, okay? We see present, main, origin, true, real, and counter for long cylindrical things. So, I mean, I highlight all these because I think they're all good to know, all right? Especially these ones of true and origin. This is very good to remember, okay? So, for example, we have words like honto, all right? Honto. I should write these in kanji. Okay, now the to is, I noticed, and in year 12 at least, it's often written in hiragana because it's not a year 12 kanji. But anyway, honto. So this means really, you know, or real. Honto desu, it's real. What else we got? Origin, okay, yep, and true. The other one is main. So a good word I think for main is honshu. All right, this is a word you really have to know, guys. It's one of the islands of Japan, okay, and it's the really big island in the middle. All right, the main one that Tokyo and Osaka and of course Nagoya is on as well. All right, so what are our islands of Japan? All right, let's go through them. Hokkaido, Honshu, Shikoku, Kyushu. Okay, Okinawa doesn't really count as an island. It's kind of subsumed into Kyushu. Alright, even though it's quite far away. Alright, but Honshu. Alright, so shu means island, okay, or state. So, it kind of makes sense. Honshu desu. Okay, and of course we have it in Nihon as well. Okay, so now maybe some of you are thinking, oh, that makes a bit more sense now. Like, why is the word for Japan contain book? Like, what's book got to do with it? Alright, it doesn't mean book in that word. Okay, so but yeah, we can get away with learning hon. Motto is handy, but I would say it's not going to come up much in year 12. For example, a lot of names. Alright, if we look at names like this. Alright, Yamamoto-san. Alright, could be one of those. Thanks for having a bit of a chat there. Broads529. I appreciate the support. Yeah, if you could guys give a like and a subscribe to the channel. Whenever I go live, you'll get more videos. I'm really happy how the production of these videos has been going recently. So I'm thinking I might be doing a few more per week. I just wanted to see how a weekly video would go, and I think it's going quite nicely, if I do say so myself. I send these videos to my students, my current students, all the time, especially if we've kind of gone over something and they want to do a bit of revision a bit later. So they said that the videos are quite handy for that. And when I look at the metrics, actually, I noticed that the counting video and the deer one have done quite well. So those are more recent videos, but counting especially, I tell everyone to go watch that one because it's a super big topic in year 12. Anyway, enough of that. Next one. Okay, this is a really important one. I don't know why I even bother saying that anymore. But alright, so we should read this as soto. Soto. Alright, so we're going to see this a bit later in our directions. We're going to do it at the end of the lesson. But soto just means outside. Okay, this kanji means outside. Okay, and so the word that we're going to come across this very commonly though is gaikokujin. Gaikokujin. Alright, we have to remember this one. Oboitoite kudasai. Okay. So, you know, gai, this means outside. Koku, this is our kanji for kuni, right? Kuni, this is country. And jin, alright, so person. Alright, so gaikokujin. Alright, so outside country person. Alright, basically an alien or a foreigner. Not an alien as in space alien, we've got a different word for that. Uchujin desu ne. Okay, so yeah, this word will help us remember. Gai. Alright, that's about all I wanted to say with that. Outside, soto. Yep. Okay. Next one. Now this is causes a bit of consternation for a lot of people. First of all, a lot of people sometimes read this as yama. Okay, this is not yama. We've seen yama before. Yama's a bit simpler. Right, this is yama. Alright, we don't have that kind of second tier on the top there. Yama, very simple. 1、2、3. Alright, 3も、3が数は3ですね。Alright, but a little bit different from yama. Alright, so what are the... Oops, don't know why I bolded these. Yoip. Alright, so deru and dasu, okay? Now, the difference between deru and dasu, most people are only going to learn this in year 12 level or above, okay? But this is the difference between a transitive and an intransitive verb, okay? Now, deru, this is... it's pretty tricky. Deru is a very broad word, alright? First of all, it can mean exit. It can mean leave, go out. I wouldn't say come out. Put out it could, and protrude. Okay, it can mean all of these ones. Now, I've actually added a last one down our sentence. Okay, so we have kaigi ni deru. Okay, so we also see it has this additional meaning of attend. All right, so to attend a conference. We hear this a lot well, I used to hear this a lot in school. All right, we'd hear this word shuseki. Shuseki. Alright, and this is basically attendance, the role. Okay, so deru, very handy word. Now, dasu, okay, also very important. Alright, and this kind of means to put something out, right? You know, for goods or whatever. Dasu. Alright, but also say like if there's a very common sign you see all over Japan. Alright, tobidashi chūi. Tobidashi chūi. Okay, now tobidashi, so tobu, so the tobi, the first part, tobu, this is to fly. Alright, and dasu, you know, to come out of. So tobidashi is, it's basically it's a sign warning motorists that there are children nearby, okay? And, you know, Japanese houses and neighborhoods, whatever, it's kind of all very cramped and small, and there's alleyways and stuff, and kids, if they're playing soccer or whatever on the street, they can, you know, just kind of appear in front of you if they're running, okay? You've got no real warning because there's blind corners and stuff. So, tobidashi chūi just means, hey, be careful, there are kids kind of running around here, so drive a bit slowly, okay? So, dashi, tobidashi chūi. Okay, so I would say both of these words are equally important. And of particular importance is learning the difference between the two. But I will be doing, I've got a lesson slated for intransitive and transitive verbs a bit later, so we'll be going through that in a fair bit of detail. But yeah, a bit of a tricky, this is, I'd say one of the major grammar things you have to learn in year 12, these transitive and transitive verbs. And it's not so much you have to know all of them, but of the verbs you already know, you're going to have to know the very common intransitive versions of a lot of them. The main one is talking about when doors are opened. Okay, so we saw, I don't really want to go into this right now, but you know the difference between door o akeru, door ga aku. Okay, the door, I open the door versus the door opens. Alright, learning the difference between these two is very important. Okay, and then the other reading we really should learn is shutsu. Okay, this comes up quite a lot. Shutsu. Alright, shutseki is one example. Alright, we can have shuppatsu. We often see the tsu gets small with these. Alright, next one, a bit of a simple one. Alright, we just got fuyu. Alright, this is winter. So, again, if we're looking at words we have to know all four seasons, okay? Shiki. Alright, so shiki is 4 seasons. So, 今は、冬ですかね。オーストラリアはちょっとわかんないです。But, 夏、春、秋. Okay, need to know all 4 of these. And normally you're going to come across them as fuyu yasumi, natsu yasumi. Okay, our summer and winter vacations. Okay, don't worry about to for yet, right yet. Alright, fuyu, we can get away with. Alright, next one. Alright, not really worth learning the kunyomi for this one, okay? Bit of a weird one. I would just recommend learning the onyomi only, okay? And this word means half. This kanji means half. Alright, so first of all, we're going to get this in time. I probably should have put this up as an example. But I could have sworn we did. I must have deleted it. Alright, so we can say 3時半. Alright, so this is just 3:30. Okay, so it's an easier way, rather than saying 30分, which is a bit long. We can just say 3時半. Okay, but we see this in some other words, which I would recommend learning. Okay, so 前半 and 後半. Alright, bit of a, just be careful of this, alright? This kanji, a lot of you probably will read it as a go. Okay, but here we read it as 後半. Alright, so this is a bit of a World Cup. You know, we're in the middle of the World Cup, and Japan's got a game tonight, I think, actually, or tomorrow. But, you know, if we're going to talk about the World Cup, so let's have a read here. 2018 FIFA World Cup. Okay, now this stuff in the brackets here, this is kind of interesting. This shows you what kanji is like. So this is how the World Cup is written in Japanese. Okay, you don't ever pronounce it like this, but it's written like this. So in newspapers, for example, so W, of course, world. I shouldn't say of course. W stands for world, and this is the kanji for cup. For, all right. So when you talk about drinking, you know, you talk about how many cups, right? 1杯、2杯、3杯. All right. So yeah, this is the short way of writing the World Cup. Anyway, so 前半, the first half of a soccer match. 後半, the second half. Okay, next one. This is woman. Not woman, sorry. Looking at the wrong one. Yeah, sorry. Not woman, mother. Okay, so we can get by with just learning haha. Okay, so this, remember, this is how you refer to your mother, haha. And we can also read this as oka-san. Put this one down. Oka-san. Oka-san. Right. So I've just got a bit of a joke here. This is part of a tongue twister, alright, that I've seen before. Alright, but we read this as haha wa haha to warao. Alright, so it's basically my mum laughs like haha. Okay, bit of a joke. And then the next bit is haha no haha wa haha to warao. Alright, see if you can work that one out. Okay, but haha and oka-san, that'll get you by. Alright, next one, another family member. Okay, I don't know why I highlighted that. You don't need to know that one. It's not even worth learning this cure, I'd say. Okay, but ani. Alright, so this is our elder brother. Okay, so oni-san, ani. You know, notice we have an o and an a. Alright, it's a changing sound. But between the two of these, you'll get by with this kanji. I guess I could, I probably should put this word up here. So we can have this one. Alright, let's do it. Alright, kyodai. Now this is technically, it's, you know, it's older brother and younger brother, these two kanji. But it really just means siblings, okay? It includes females as well, okay? Now you can say shimai, shimai, and that means sisters, alright? But kyodai is kind of used interchangeably, it just means siblings. Okay, next one. This is one chronically understudied by a lot of people, I would say. But this one we read as she. Okay, it's probably best to recognize this one as she. Okay, and we can see our English, it means market, city, or town. Okay, so we see this a lot when we're talking about administrative regions in Japan. Okay, city is kind of, you know, it's just like in Australia, right? Cities are like a conglomeration of suburbs kind of thing. Like it's a bigger level than cities, bigger than town as well. City kind of sits up the top on the hierarchy. Above that, I guess we have, you know, prefectures and things like, you know, Osaka fu, Tokyo to, these kind of administrative areas, right? There's not many things higher than city though, that's for sure. Alright, so yeah. So for example, this one, Nagoya-shi. Nagoya-shi. Alright, so it's city of Nagoya. And this word also very good to learn. It can come up a lot when we're talking about directions or buying or shopping. You know, these are big topics in year 12. So ichiba. Ichiba. Alright, now this shijo, don't worry about this. I should probably just delete this. Okay, but just so you know, shijo is like when we're talking about the concept of a market. So for example, in economics, okay, the market for widgets, okay, it'll be shijo. Alright, it's the same kanji though, but it's basically, an ichiba is like a physical market. Shijo is an abstract market. Okay. But yeah, we can get by, I think, with shi. It would be good to learn this word ichiba. It's possible that it could come up in year 12. Alright, this one. This is a really, really good kanji. And again, a lot of people, I think, don't look at this one much. Alright, now it is definitely a receptive kanji, alright? You're never going to be asked to write it. But it comes up in a lot of different compounds. I would say there's like 5 or so compounds that they legitimately could use in year 12, alright? And then a lot of people would complain, oh, but no, they could definitely use it. First of all, it's on the list of receptive kanji, but these words are very useful, okay? So they could come up. Now, don't worry about the kunyomi for this one. It's best just to learn the onyomi, alright, which is your, okay? And we see the English means utilize. I think service is also another good one to learn, but just kind of think of it as this kind of use, or like a business kind of kanji, okay? Now, one word I think is probably the best one to learn is yoji. Alright, this is kind of like an errand or a task that you have to do. Okay, so people, you know, especially if we're talking about directions or meeting people or whatever, you know, ちょっと用事があります。ちょっと用事があるので、先にお失礼します。Alright, yoji. Good one to learn this one. Okay, next we have a direction. Okay, so north. Okay, kita. I wouldn't really recommend learning the onyomi for this, but it becomes a lot more useful later. But for now, you really only ever will be asked to talk about kita. Alright, now I used to use this word quite a lot actually when I was in Japan working at the hotel, because I had to tell people the directions to the hotel. And until I kind of got better at saying it, I used to say kita homen. Mugatte kudasai. Alright, so please turn towards the northerly direction. Okay, and then eventually I had one person go, yeah, well, I don't know where north is. I was like, oh no. So then I had to think of a different way to explain it. Okay, but I did use that for quite a while. Next one. Okay, this is probably one that's fairly familiar to a lot of you. Okay, this is our Tatsu. Alright, to stand up. Our kanji for Tatsu. Now, notice here I've also highlighted this one, erect. Okay, so to basically when we're talking about, you know, building a building or starting something up, you know, we often use this tatsu. We also think of, like, when we think about, for example, public and private schools in Japan. For private, we have shiritsu. And koritsu. Okay, so shiritsu private, koritsu public. Alright, so we see this quite a lot in Japan. Okay, shiritsu ko, koritsu ko. Alright, I mean, these words could definitely come up though, but don't prioritize it. Really, if you remember this as tatsu, that would be enough, I think. But if you can also remember this ritsu, I think it'll put you in good stead for a bit longer. We have words like rippa, nahito, but this is a bit of an advanced word. Probably more of a JLPT N4, N3 word, rippa, but uses this kanji. Alright, now I did put this word in here, seiritsu, okay, which is like formation, establishment of something. Kind of unlikely to come up, but it is a good word to learn both of these kanji, and both of these kanji are on your year 12 list. So technically it could come up, but perhaps not examinable, I would say. I would say, I mean, really only learn that kind of word if you feel very confident in your exams, or you're looking at doing JLPT. Okay, next one. Actually, this is the last one, I believe. Yeah. Okay, so this is a really good one. I'm actually kind of interested that they put this in the year 12 kanji list, but really we read this as E. Now, I didn't even bother highlighting this English because to be honest, I never learned the English for this kanji. I feel I put this list of words here, and this should give you an idea of what this word is like. So first off, we have igai. Alright, so we see like with the exception of, accepting, but this can also mean like an unusual occurrence, right? So out of the ordinary. Okay, so igai na hito deshita. He was a strange person. Okay, iko. Alright, so it's like thereafter. Now this ko kanji, this is actually, some of you might recognize this from furu. Alright, ame ga furu, it rains. Also oriru, which is to get off, like a bus or a train, okay? So we kind of see it's like kind of this, this kind of image, right? It's like continuing on or after or something. Rain's falling, getting off a train or whatever, continues on. So iku. Alright, so as from, hereafter. Okay, but a bit of a technical word, and it's very likely only going to come up in reading. Alright, if it comes up at all, and very likely they're going to give you furigana above the top of it, at least for the core part. Secondly, this is very similar to the first one, but just kind of the opposite meaning. So izen. Izen. Alright, so since, before, previous. Okay, izen. Now, ijo, I heard this word quite a lot, and you hear this a lot in speeches, for example, alright? So, I remember at school assemblies when I was in Japan, some teacher would get up and do some speech, and then some teachers at the end would just say, they'd just kind of be doing their speech, and then they would take a pause and say, ijo desu. Alright? Ijo desu. Then they would exit. Alright, so like that's it. I'm done. Nothing more to say, basically. Alright, so it's somewhere, here, the number 2. Nothing further to say. Okay, but we see it also got some other meanings, right? Cannot pay more than that, more than, above mentioned, foregoing. Okay, so it's got a very broad meaning. Alright? Ijo. So you could say something like, そうですね。180センチ以上ではない人は、バスケットボールはプロバスケの選手になれません。Something like this, right? You can't become a pro basketball player if you're less than 180 centimeters. Something like that. Okay, and ika, right? Kind of our flip. Whoops. Yeah, our flip of ijo, right? Ika. And also, by the way, these words are really good to remember. The second kanji, right? It's a bit of a sanity check to think, well, what is that? How do we read that second kanji with the onyomi? Okay, and ika, kind of just the flip of ijo. Okay, so that's kanji. So I can't exactly remember. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so we're at the end of 5 strokes. All right, so we'll be starting 6 strokes next week. See how many there are. There's kind of less and less kanji as we go more and more strokes. Alright, directions. Alright, so my plan was just kind of to go through this word list kind of quickly, and then we'll continue on with it next week though, okay? We'll look at few more words, and then we're going to be looking at a map. We're going to kind of